Dialectical Journal, Unit 6, Part 2. Virtue, quote of interest. Sweet rose, whose hue, angry and brave, bids the rash gazer wipe his eye, thy root is ever in its grave, and thou must die. Only sweet and virtuous soul, like seasoned timber, never gives, but though the whole world turn to coal, then chiefly lives. Page 720. In this poem, as in life, the ratio of things that die compared to things that have eternal life is large. The speaker seems to believe that even though the body of a person dies after time, its soul continues to live. This indicates that the author may have believed in ghosts or the afterlife. Because I could not stop for death, quote of interest. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun, or rather he passed us. We paused before a house that seemed a swell of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Page 721. This poem was allegorical because it represented the process of life. First a person goes to school, then they get a job, and finally, years later, the sun goes away in their life and they die. The way the house was described made it appear as if it was part of the earth rather than a man-made structure. The sun rising, quote of interest. Must to thy motions, lover, seasoned sun, saucy, pedantic wretch, go chide late schoolboys and sour apprentices. Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride, call country ants to harvest offices. Love all alike, no season knows nor time, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. Page 723. The syntax of this poem was strategically designed to put emphasis on different words than one would expect. Since the poem is about lovers, the author stressed words such as us or together. The tone of the writing is also worth noting because it is one of impatient defiance and authority. This does not seem to correspond with the previous importance of the lovers being a couple. The man he killed, quote of interest. I shot him dead because he was my foe, just so. My foe, of course, he was. That's clear enough, although. Page 725. The broken syntax at the start of this poem can be associated with the speaker's state of mind. He seems to feel the need to justify his killing. Maybe he has begun to doubt whether it was the right choice or if it was even necessary. The fluent syntax at the end implies that he has worked through this state of mind and now feels at ease with his actions. An Irish airman foresees his death. Quote of interest. Those that I fight I do not hate, those that I guard I do not love. A lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. The years to come seemed to waste breath. Page 726. The balanced and controlled syntax indicates the lack of passion that the guard possesses for his job and the people around him. This contributed to the meaning of the poem because it leaves the reader feeling reserved and isolated from the world. The pilot's attitude toward his country, his enemy, and his fate is that he accepts whatever comes his way and he does not get emotionally involved in his life. This kind of existence does not seem fulfilling. The silken tent, quote of interest. And its supporting central cedar pole, that is its pinnacle to heavenward, and signifies sureness of the soul, seems to owe naught to any single cord, but strictly held by none, it's loosely bound by countless silken ties of love and thought to everything on earth, and only by one's growing slightly taut is of the slightest bondage made aware. Page 726 to 727. Similar to a previous poem that I responded to, this one deals with the soul being alive in heaven. I like that the silken tent is personified as being carried toward everything on earth. It is even able to feel that it is tied down to the ground. It is important to note that the author composed the sonnet into one sentence in length. Me up it does, quote of interest. Still who alive is asking, what have I done that you wouldn't have? Page 727. The strained order of words is related to the situation described in the poem. The mouse's voice serves as the person's inner self wondering if he did the right thing. It was difficult to understand because of the turmoil in the speaker's mind. This poem required the reader to rearrange the order of the words for it to make sense. Monster among the dustbins. Quote of interest. I too have felt the presence of God in the broom I hold, in the cobwebs in the room, but most of all in the silence of the tomb. Page 728. The structure of this poem juxtapositions long sentences with short ones and questions against statements. It also balances the phrasing by using rhyming words. The fact that God was evident in the tomb, in the broom, and in the cobwebs showed that the person did not have faith in God.